Morning. Hi, Maddie.
Just see your nose.
Mm-hmm. Something the Killjoy thing.
Morning, guys.
Maddie.
Jessica.
Trying to talk low. I'm the only one who's awake right now.
What?
I said I'm talking low. I'm the only one awake.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning. Hip. Hip.
Wait, so that way.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Happy Sunday.
Why are you feeding him?
How you guys feeling this week?
Sore.
Why are you feeding him now?
Jess asked me to
Right? Sit down.
ask around and say what are like some of your guys' primary sore spots today. Like I have a flow for us to go through, but what are some areas you guys want me to spend a little bit of extra time on? She was saying like back and hips usually.
Lower back, hips,
Always.
Yeah.
leg.
Okay, that's pretty much what I got. So I
have some people. Josh, can you hear me?
yeah.
They're not able to get on, but they're gonna watch the recording. We do spend a lot of time on our hands because we don't have pull-up bars or anything, so people are really starting to come forward too much. So maybe
Okay.
chest openers as well.
Chest openers? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Let's get started just with some breaths. We're just gonna do 5 deep breaths like we normally do. So we're gonna go ahead and start in this kneeling position here. So it's always good to you hear a lot of the yoga people talk about this. It's called like setting an intention. Really, what that means to me is just kind of like getting in the right headspace for the hour that we're going to do. So kind of just allowing yourself to calm. I know it's in the morning, but maybe you guys are stressed from the week or something, but just allowing yourself to calm down. Close your eyes, just breathe, and just say, okay, I'm here for an hour to stretch, to move slow, to learn about my body. So just kind of calm your minds, get your mind ready for what we're about to do. Just going to take 5 really deep breaths. So inhale 3 seconds. And exhale 3 seconds. With every breath in, you kind of want to feel that rejuvenation coming into the body. Breathe in deep. Really see if you can expand the lungs here on the outside. Do 2 more. Breathe in deep. And out. Last one, really lift the chest. Pull the shoulders back. And breathe out here. Okay, very good. All right, so we're gonna go through a series of just some full body mobility, and then we're gonna do a couple movement flows that I came up with the other day. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna transition in and out of the child's pose and then up dog. All right, so I'll show you what both of those look like here. So a child's pose is gonna be here. We're in this position, and it's not just a passive position. You don't wanna just be resting. you want to really be driving your hips backwards and your arms forwards. And so the more I move my arms forwards, you can see my back starting to flatten more. So you really want to be reaching out with those arms here on that child's pose. And then what we're going to do from here is just rock forward into an up dog, and you're trying to push the front of your hip bones down towards the floor. And so we're just going to be rocking in and out of this position right here. And again, on this position, we're really like, think about almost like your hands are up against the wall and you're pushing your body backwards here. And you'll really feel a good stretch of the spine. So everyone, let's start in this pose here, and that child's pose. And then we're going to rock forwards. So from up dog here, we're going to breathe in. And then you're going to exhale back to this position here. Breathe in forward. And again, you're trying to drive the hip bones down, pull the shoulders back, lift the chest up, and squeeze the glutes so that way you're not putting that tension into your lower back. And then rock forward. So as I'm moving here, I'm squeezing the glutes, pulling the shoulders back, and lifting the chest. There's 3, and rock back. Inhale forward.
Boom.
Exhale backwards. There's 5, so we'll inhale forward, halfway there. And exhale backwards.
Watch your teeth in your face. Okay. And then I want that braid out of your hair. Comb your hair.
Inhale forwards. Couple more. Exhale backwards.
Man, finish breakfast. I don't care.
2 more. Inhale forwards. Exhale backwards. Last one. Inhale forwards. And exhale backwards. Okay, very good. So we're gonna stay actually back in that child's pose. All right. So what I'm gonna do from here, you should have your chest up against your legs, or if that's uncomfortable, you can widen your legs a little bit like this, if that's too uncomfortable, and come down in this position here. So what we're gonna do is kind of walk using your hands from side to side. Now the purpose of this stretch here is to loosen up this part of the lower back here. So everyone's gonna kind of walk their hands towards one side. And if you don't move your hips, you'll feel that as you walk more and more to your left side, you'll feel that right side really opening up. Once you feel like you're at the very end, like you can't go anymore, take a really, really deep breath and try to breathe into the area that's in stretch. And then on the exhale, we're gonna walk our way over to the other side. So walk towards the right side. And for this one, you definitely want to keep your chest towards the ground. So you don't want to open up at all. So keep it towards the ground. We're going to twist. And then once you're at that full stretch, 1 deep inhale. And then on the exhale, you should feel that stretch loosen just a little bit. Then we're going to walk again to the left side. So when I'm on the left side, my right arm is reaching out as far as it can. You should feel that stretch all on the right side body. And then we'll walk to the right. So guys, go at your own pace here, all right? If you need to go a little faster, a little slower, that's fine. Just go until you find that full stretch point. Take one deep breath, couple seconds in, couple seconds out, and then we'll walk back to the other side. So I'm on 5 here. Big breath in and out. You should notice as you're going from side to side that your arc is increasing, so you should be able to go a little bit farther to each side with each pass. Okay, a couple more. Keep going here, guys. Cat just knocked the plant over again. So we got one more time to each side. So I'm on my left. And then moving to the right. Okay, come back to the middle. Take your time finishing up if you need to finish real quick. And then everyone's gonna lay down on your back, face up when you're finished. Okay, so this is a self-assisted hamstring stretch we're gonna be doing here. All right, so we're gonna be laying back, grabbing the leg here. And so what this down leg wants to do is turn out like this to make this leg easier to stretch. So don't let your bottom straight foot turn out. Keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling. All right, so you want to keep this leg active. Okay, so keeping your right toes pointed up towards the air, you're going to clasp your hands under your left leg here. And then what you're going to do is hold that position where it is and try to straighten that leg. Okay, so you're really, really push, 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 and then relax it. Okay, and if you need to come down a little bit, that's also fine. But try to get to a point where you can straighten that leg all the way and bend it here. We're going to do 10 times on each leg, nice and slow. And it's okay if it's shaking, it's probably going to feel really tight. But see if you can get that quad to turn on. All right, so that means you're kind of in that full knee flexion here, or knee extension here. See if you can get the quad to squeeze, and that's going to help loosen up the hamstring here. And then pull that back down. So as always, we're exhaling on the work. Whenever you're exerting force is when you want to be exhaling. And so I'm going to be inhaling here and exhaling, squeezing the core, really trying my hardest to lock out that leg. Push, 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 push. It's going to feel like your hamstring is breaking, but it's not going to break. It's just stretching. We got one more on this side. We're doing total of 10. Straighten and come back down. All right, we'll switch legs whenever you're finished with that round. So take a second to get yourself oriented before you get started. So you want both hip bones on the ground, all right? You want your down leg to be turned on. So you don't want it to be bent or turned out like this. So keep it straight. You can see the quad turning on and those toes pointed up towards the ceiling.
Was that Maddie?
Yes.
You guys find one side tighter than the other or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be because the other side was just so stretched nicely. Oh my God, it sucks.
Yes, you're known for your loose hamstrings, aren't you?
My tight hamstrings, you mean?
Oh, is that what it is? I knew it was one or the other.
No, I'm better these days, definitely.
Okay, good. So I'm on 7. We got 3 more. Inhale down. Exhale when you're really trying to lock out. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And good. All right. So we are going to stay on our back. All right. And arms are going to be in a T position here. All right. And now what these are called wipers. All right. You guys are probably familiar with these in some form or another. So we're laying on our back, arms out to a T. All right. The knees are going to be bent. So you want to stay in this tabletop position here. And then what we're trying to do is just roll from side to side here. So we're going to be rolling like this here. Okay, now you want both of the backs of both shoulders to be staying on the ground, and you also want your knees to stay together. So this is kind of an important part. So everybody, let's just focus on my screen for a second here. When you're going to one side, so let's say as I'm moving to this side, what wants to happen is whichever side you're moving towards, so say I'm moving towards my left, the left knee is going to want to trail in front of the right knee here. But what I want you to do is make sure that as you're going one way, that both knees are at the same length, because that little difference is going to get the QL on that side, and that's really the muscle that we're trying to stretch. Okay, so as I'm moving to the left, I don't want my right knee to trail behind, so I'm going to kind of like kick my hip up to keep my knees together and to keep them flush with each other, and then that's really going to stretch the QL on that one side. Okay, so just think about as you're moving towards the right, that left knee is reaching, and you'll feel a much better stretch all the way up that left side here. Okay, so we're gonna go nice and slow, side to side, 5 on each side. So arms out to a T, pull those shoulders back to the floor. So your knees should be flush with each other here. So we move to the left, and you're really kicking that right hip forwards, so those knees stay flush. And then you're pulling them up to the middle, just using the core. All right, so you don't really want to use legs or arms or anything. What you really want to use, so I'm in full stretch here, use the obliques here to squeeze those legs back to the middle. There's 2. So we'll go here. Reach that top knee to match the bottom knee. Pull back. If you don't get all the way to the floor, that's totally okay too. I'm not getting all the way to the floor. You just want to go until your body says, I can't stretch anymore. Because remember, we're trying to find the end ranges here. So just allowing those legs to just drop on the floor like this doesn't really stretch anything. So we want to slowly, slowly, slowly be finding that very end stretch point that your body's capable of. And then using your own core to pull back to the middle. Okay, let's do 2 more on each side. So we're moving to the right. Pull back to the left. So ideally, with good mobility, we should be able to have our backs on the floor and to have our legs be able to be on the side here. Pull back up. Okay.
Oh man, that was good.
Yeah, that's a really good core move and a low back.
Well,
Release.
when done correctly, I think this is one of my favorites. I like rotation work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
necessary.
the more you can control that rotation work through the core here, the less that lower back is going to feel flared up.
Absolutely.
So even if if you guys are doing that move at home, even if you're really only going like very small from side to side,
Mhm.
you're still improving a lot and you're still going to really diminish the load placed on the lower back. Okay, last one we're going to be doing face up like this is we're going to grab your knees. You're going to be in a cannonball position here. Okay, and then the goal of this move is to, you're kind of like fighting against yourself almost. So I'm making sure that my making sure that my hold is tight here, but I'm pushing my knees up into my hands and I'm pulling my hands back towards my body. And what that's doing is you can see I'm going from flat here on the back. I'm gonna kill this cat. Move. So I'm going from flat here to kind of putting all that pressure through my low back. And then I'm gonna come back to this resting position here. So basically what you're trying to do is push the lower part of your spine into the floor, squeeze the core, squeeze your abs, and then relax. So you're driving your knees almost like you're trying to sit up. So like push your knees into your hands, like almost like you're trying to do a sit up. But by holding onto your knees, you're gonna be driving your lower back into the floor. And you'll feel a really good stretch of all the lower spine there. So there's 3, we're gonna do a total of 10. Does everybody understand this move, yeah?
Yeah.
So you should be able to feel a big stretch right at the very top of the hips, the very bottom of the spine. So you should be pushing that very low, low, low vertebrae into the floor and then relaxing. So inhale when you're relaxing and exhale when you're moving up. 3 more. And last one. Big breath in. And breathe out. All right. Good. All right, next one we're going to be doing is face down. These are called scorpions. Jess, you ever do scorpions?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's familiar with these? So this one's face down, arms out to the side, and the leg is coming up. Turn sideways. The leg is coming up and over, reaching for the hands here. So this is going to come up, and then I'm going to open up and try to touch the toe into the opposite hand. All right.
That's not reaching that hand.
That's totally fine if it doesn't reach. It does not have to. That's just the goal.
That was
So
rough.
reach towards the hand and you know you're moving the right direction. So we're gonna do 5 on each side. So I'll count off. You can go at your own speed. So here's 1. 2. 3. You want to keep your bottom leg activated too. So when you're in this starting position, keep both of your legs straight and active. And as you lift the one, keep the other one locked out and solid so that your top leg has it has a foundation to move around. Okay, so don't let this bottom leg just go limp. Keep it nice and active. Keep those glutes turned on. And you'll find you have more range in the mobile foot. So that's 8 for me. You got 1 more to each side. Again, just reach as far as your body will let you, but make sure you're reaching towards the hands because we want to get those hamstrings firing and engaged. Okay. All right, if anyone needs a drink of water or something, or like a little break, bathroom break, now's the time to do it. Because we're gonna be transitioning into more of a movement flow. Well, I'm gonna lead you guys through a flow here in about a minute. So I'll give everyone like 30, 45 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh.
Yo, Jess, I'm so sore from that burn class yesterday. My inner thigh.
Yeah, it's different, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of agility work, a lot of fast twitch. Like you've done it in the past in your life, but
yeah, it's just those Heisman that we were doing, the lateral ones. Oh,
your hips.
yeah, so tight.
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to open on May 1st?
What?
Are
you guys gonna open in May?
No, right now supposedly it's May 15th, but even that's an unknown.
No, actually, there's a rumor that in this area they want the end of May.
End of May.
Yeah.
The current date is May 20th, I think, is what it says on the site.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez.
Because there's a huge argument between government and state, obviously, and I mean, as far as the country goes, they want as soon as possible, but our governor does not. So
He wants to keep everyone home longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's because we
And-
still have 300 to 400 deaths a night. I mean, we gotta
yeah,
get that
and in
down.
this area in North Bergen, Hudson County, they're finding $10,000 and 18 months in prison.
Really.
I mean, we're like the most effed up state. I mean,
Because there's
like,
too many damn people there.
too much damage and too much, people not abiding. So in the mix, you get the two. And
Yeah.
but end of May, they were saying like I heard the 28th, but you say
28th.
That's what is a rumor, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully that comes true though. Hopefully it will be sometime in May.
What about you guys? Ohio?
What's that?
What about you? You're in Ohio, right?
Yeah, I'm in Ohio. DeWine, our governor, said May 1st we're gonna start the first phase, and he said gyms are part of the first phase as long as our classes are low. So I'm thinking it might be the 1st of May. I'll definitely have to double check because like it changes every day. But for right now, I'm thinking that we'll be able to open in a week or so, maybe a little less.
Nice.
But as far as massage therapy, that's gonna take forever to get back into. All right, so we're gonna start up in a high kneeling position here.
We're standing.
So we're gonna go through a movement flow that I came up with. All right, so I'm just gonna lead you guys through it. So just kind of be following my directions here, and we'll move slow, and we'll all get it. So you're gonna have your left leg forward. Your right hand's gonna be down on the floor. All right, so you want to try to orient your hips both facing forwards, okay? So you don't want them to be turned out or turned one way or the other. So try to be very linear here. So your left elbow is going to come on the inside of that left leg. All right, so you're going to breathe in real deep. And then as you exhale, you want to slowly let that left knee move forwards, keeping a solid foot position on the ground. You're driving that elbow down towards the heel. All right, then drive your right arm into the ground. And you're going to twist and reach that left up towards the ceiling. Here. And then you're going to put that hand down on the inside. And you're going to go into a push-up position here. Get back into a push-up position. And then we're going to go into a pike. And then walk our way back to an inchworm. Okay? So we're in a full stand position here. Big breath in. Keep those legs locked and just push your hips backwards as far as you can. All right, you're reaching towards the floor. If you can't reach the floor, go as far as you can and then bend your knees to get to the floor. From here, we're going to walk ourselves back to a push-up position. You're going to take your left leg, pull your knee in, and we're going to move to a pigeon pose, which is going to be crossing your leg here. And so you're trying to get this heel, left heel, towards your right hip bone. All right, so you're trying to kind of nestle down. All right, and see if you can get that left thigh bone on the floor is what we're moving towards, and then the left heel bone in the right hip, and then that back leg, you want to be locked out too. So that back leg will be straight in this position here. Okay, so we're just going to take 1 or 2 deep breaths here. Okay, feel free to kind of wiggle yourself side to side if you feel like that might help you a little bit deeper into the pose. All right, so everyone come back up to this upright position, have your hands on the floor. And then you're going to tuck your right toes underneath. Okay, so you're right on your right leg, your toes are on the floor. And then we're going to try to push up into a single leg down dog position here. So this leg is up. And then I want you to tilt that left leg over towards your right and see if you can look under your left armpit here. And so really reach that left leg backwards, push through the arms, big deep breaths. And then we're gonna come back down to a left side plank. So rotate onto your left. One big breath here. Then we're gonna rotate down towards the floor. Go ahead and drop your right knee to the ground. That left leg is gonna kick out to the side. So it's locked out straight to the side. And then we're gonna try to shift your weight backwards here. See if you can keep that left leg locked out. See how far you can push your hips backwards. And then go ahead and slowly rock forwards. Bring that left leg in. Right leg moves forward. Left hand on the ground. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Right elbow here, big breath in. Drive that right elbow towards your heel. See how, if you can have a really long exhale here. Okay, so you want this front foot to be flat, but your knee can fall out to the side here, okay? So if your foot is flat and your knee is going out, you'll feel a big stretch here in the hips. But once this foot comes up like this, now we're stretching more of the back. So we want this to be planted, and then that knee goes out, and then you'll feel the stretch a lot more here in the front. So from that position, we're gonna twist upwards towards the ceiling. Come back down, we're gonna get into a push-up position and hike upwards and go into that inchworm. Come all the way up. Hike your hips backwards, keep your legs straight as long as you can. If you need to bend your knees, you can bend them right at the end. And we're gonna come back to that push-up position. From the push-up position, right leg is coming forwards to move into that pigeon pose here. So again, now we want our left heel to be in the hip crease, or the right heel to be in the hip crease on the left. And then see if you can just fold forward over that. Take 1 or 2 deep breaths. Okay, come back up. Firmly place your hands right on the outside of your knee here. Tuck your toes on the left side. And then we're going to push straight up into that single leg down dog. And then We're opening up towards the right, so that leg is going over towards your left side. Look under your right armpit. And see if you can really push that hip open on the top. And then slowly bring that back down. And we're just going to shift onto the right hand, onto the right leg here. So we have a side plank here. Make sure you got your body oriented straight. Then we're going to rotate back towards the floor. Left knee down, right leg straight out to the side. And slowly rock backwards. Nice and controlled. And then go ahead and come forward. Bring that leg in. And then we're going to do one more time on each side with that routine. So we got left leg forward. So we're in kind of this low lunge position here. Left knee or left elbow against your shin. Big breath in. And drive that elbow down towards your heel. So we're trying to keep the left foot on the floor fully. And that way the left knee can drive out and we'll feel a big stretch through the adductors here. Okay, so your foot should be in a high arch when you're in this position here. If your foot's not in a high arch, keep your big toe mound pressed firmly into the floor. Okay, which is this part right here, the big toe mound right here. Okay, and then we're gonna twist up towards the ceiling. Then we're gonna go into push-up position. Walk your way back into an inchworm. See if you can keep those legs locked, really reach through your arms. Make that back stretch. Slowly roll up to standing position. Big breath in, suck in your stomach, drive your hips backwards. Be real hollow in the stomach. Keep that back nice and flat until you have to fold. And then we're gonna walk forward. And that left leg's coming forward for our pigeon. Go ahead and once you're there, fold forward over it. Take 1 or 2 nice deep breaths. You're really tuned into your body here. See what needs to tighten or release. Make sure your breath, you're breathing into your stretches, which means wherever you feel the tightest right now, with your breath, with your inhale, see if you can direct that inhale energy into your area of tightness and expand it. And see if you can start to create a little bit more mobility and range of motion through that spot, just using your breath. Okay, tuck your toes on your right side. Go ahead and come into this upright position here. We're going to lift that front leg, drive it all the way back into a down dog. And then it's coming up and over the body. So that leg is dumping out towards the right. I'm looking towards the left. Come back down. I'm gonna rotate onto my left side to be in a side plank. And then I'm gonna rotate back towards the floor. Drop the right knee, left leg goes out straight. All right, see if you can plant your whole foot on the floor and then slowly rock backwards here. All right, so bonus points if you can have your foot flat on the floor in this position here, rather than just the inside of your foot. See if you can rotate your whole ankle so that your whole foot is on the floor, and you'll feel a big stretch on the top of your foot. Okay, and then we'll come back forward and do one more time on the right side. So that right leg's gonna come forward. Big breath in. And on the exhale, we're driving down. Right elbow towards the right heel. Breathe in deep. As you're breathing in, you're twisting up towards the ceiling. Twist down nice and slow. Both hands on the floor. We are going to a push-up position, walking back towards our inchworm. Big breath in. Keep that belly empty. Drive the hips back. Keep your shoulders back. Keep your back straight as long as you can. Then you're going to start to fold here. We're going to walk forwards. And then from that push-up position, we're bringing right leg forward to go into pigeon here. So once you're in that pigeon pose, go ahead and fold forward and take a few deep breaths. So again, your breath is very powerful when you're in positions like this, because you can shift the tension in your body just using your breath. So find that area of tightness that's really screaming at you right now. And with your inhale, see if you can expand that area that feels tight. And then as you exhale, some of that tension should just kind of melt away and dissipate into the body. Okay, so go ahead and put your hands down on the either side of your knee. We're going to tuck the left toes underneath. And then squeeze the core. And we're driving back into this single leg down dog position. And then right leg fold over top of the body. And we're looking underneath the right armpits. And really reach that knee up towards the ceiling. And then away from you. And then come back down. We're going to go straight into a right side plank. And then we're going to twist towards the floor, drop your left knee, right leg goes out straight, and we're rocking back. And come forward. All right. Good work, everybody. I got a couple stretches to do right here at the end, just to help us cool down and just to capitalize on all of this added movement capabilities you guys have right now, just from moving for an hour. Your body's a lot more receptive to learning new techniques right now because you're in a lot of control over your body. There's a lot of feedback going on between your body and your brain. So we're going to capitalize on that just with some stretches. This one's actually less of a stretch, and it's more of, I guess, just a mobility technique. So I had I think it was like 5 years ago, I had double hip surgery on both of my hips. And I used to throw out my lower back all the time. And so anyone who's thrown out their lower back, where you're like paralyzed for a few days, knows how painful and debilitating that can be. So this is a move that I learned and I studied a lot when I was doing that. And once I started implementing this, I had a lot more mobility through my low back, and I haven't thrown on my back out since. It's very, very simple in concept, but it's challenging to do in practice. So it takes a lot of intention, and it takes a lot of thought and energy to do correctly. But all it is, we're going to be laying on the floor, and you want to think about your, so each one of your vertebrae stacks right on top of the other, and they all have a very small amount of movement to them. But when you have like 30 of them stacked on top of each other, it allows for a lot of movement in the spine. So what we're trying to do is get just a little bit of movement in between each vertebrae. So you want to think about your spine almost like the bottom of a boat, how it kind of is this concave position here. And so what I want to do is start at the pelvis, and I'm just going to push my very first vertebrae onto the floor, and then I'm going to roll the next one, and then I'm going to roll the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and I'm going to go into this kind of like arched, like rocking position with the hips here. And so we're not going to get too deep into this, but this is something you guys can practice and play with. It's best to do like on a little bit of a harder surface so you can feel each vertebrae. But try to see if you can feel each one of your vertebrae. Like I'm tucking my hips, squeezing the core, pushing one vertebrae onto the floor, and then I'm going to move up to the next, and move up to the next, and move up to the next, and up to the next, and up to the next. And if you do this very slowly, you'll feel a very, very, very strong ab contraction, and you'll feel the very lowest part of your back able to start to expand and able to kind of release some of that tension. Okay, so like a full rock would take me probably like 30 seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it real quick. So everyone, we're just going to start on your back. Just kind of empty your breath, empty your tension. All right, and so first thing we're going to do is take your heels and drive them into the floor and almost push, see if you can push yourself backwards a little bit. And that will already give you that little bit of that pelvic tilt to push the lowest vertebrae onto the floor. Okay, so just from that position, you should feel your core turning on. And then I'm going to try to push one more. So it's similar to that first move that we did where we were holding onto the knees, driving the lower back into the floor. Only you're just using your core to do it. And then I'm just really slowly moving up one vertebrae at a time. And then once you're at the halfway point or so, I usually go up to like the mid back. And then I'm going to reverse it. So I'm going to keep my hips as high as I can for as long as I can. And just try to roll each vertebrae down onto the floor one at a time. So this can't be done fast, and there's very little movement, so it's going to look to everyone else like you're really not doing too much. But to you, this should feel like a lot. And it will take a while. Like it took me several weeks, if not months, to really feel like I had a good autonomy between what my low vertebrae are doing. But really try to focus on like that bottom 10 to 15 vertebrae all the way down to your hips. And just kind of explore. I call this kind of like movement exploration. You want to explore the mobility and the range of motion down there. And this would be a good thing for you guys to do a little bit each day, just for 5 or 10 minutes a day throughout the week. And the more you do it, the more it will feel effective. So the first couple of times you do it, like maybe right now you're not feeling a lot, but as long as you have the idea and the mindset of, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, and you can visualize what you are trying to do, then your body will start to learn how to figure it out, okay? So that's why having that good intention is very important. But just try to do this throughout the week. Just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, set your timers, lay on the floor, and just do some of these spinal rollings. Again, thinking about almost like, think about like the bottom of a rocking chair, how you rock forward and backwards. Think about what the bottom part of that rocking chair is doing. And that's what I want you to think about your spine doing as you're doing these movements. And so, yeah, that doesn't feel like a lot, but it will help your low back loosen up quite a bit, actually. And since I've learned how to do this, I haven't thrown my back out yet. So good luck with that one. Try it out through the week. Thank you all for joining. This was fun.